What's up, metalheads? I'm Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and turn your notifications on. To all you subs, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you guys weren't here watching the videos, I wouldn't be making the videos. So thank you all so much. All right, today we're going to take a look at two very cool knives. They are both Maverick S by Christensen Knifeworks. Why do I have such a hard time with that name? I don't know, but I do have a hard time with that name. So we have the micarta liner lock and the titanium frame lock. The micarta does have titanium liners in it, and they are 56 thousandths thick, and you've got a frame lock on this one. And cool thing about these knives is, although one's a frame lock and one is a liner lock, they are identical proportionally. Everything is pretty much identical as far as the thickness and everything goes. There is a difference in weight, but that's it. The titanium frame lock's like 3.8 ounces, 3.8, 3.9 ounces, and the liner lock's 3 to 3.1 ounces. So more than a half an ounce difference in weight, and you can feel that. The liner lock is definitely lighter, but everything else on these two knives is the same. The exact same thumb studs, same pivot collars, pocket clip, and backspacer, all zirconium, all the same on both knives. So very cool that they were able to keep the exact same size, and they feel, you know, as far as the thickness and everything goes, they're pretty much the same in hand. You can't say, well, I can say this one feels better in hand because it's micarta, and to me micarta just feels better in hand than titanium, but this one feels more substantial in hand. It has a more premium feel to it, and I think that just comes with the territory with titanium, at least for me. I think it feels more premium, and the added weight makes it feel more substantial. Everything else on these two knives is the same. The blades are identical. It's an M390 blade with a hollow grind. That's a super deep hollow grind too. Yeah, very nice hollow grind on these knives. I don't know what the thickness behind the edge is, but it's pretty thin. It's very, very thin. And I don't know how well I can get that to show up on camera, but you can see how, yeah, it comes down really thin. Decent sharpening choil there, but the plunge grind does get pretty close, but you got a little ways of sharpening before you'd have to worry about hitting that plunge. Got a swedge here on top. Tell you one thing that really impresses me about these knives are these thumb studs. These thumb studs, they're chunkier than a lot of thumb studs companies use. The diameter's a little larger than a lot of thumb studs, but it makes them more comfortable in my opinion. They're not sharp at all. They're easy on your thumb or your middle finger. You don't, very comfortable on the thumb studs on both, obviously, since they're the same. Biggest difference between these knives for me, other than the fact what they're made of, is the action. The detent on this liner lock is a lot stiffer than the frame lock. It's got a stiffer detent. And I like a stiffer detent personally. So action wise, I've got to give it to the liner lock. Now it's pretty stout. It's pretty stout detent, but it's going to get better with time. You know what I mean? It's just going to break in better. This one is more drop shutty. Not by much though. And there's some sounds for you. They sound very similar, and I think that's because this one has the nested liners, titanium liners, and the backspacer's the same. So the sound is very similar. Get more of a thud with this one, a higher pitch sound with the liner lock, but you don't really get much of a ting on either one. I love the fact that they use zirconium for all the you know, for everything on both knives. Both these knives run $380 each, so you can either get this one or this one for the same price, which is pretty cool. Generally, the titanium frame lock will run more with most companies that you know, make different variations of a knife, especially if it's all titanium. But there's honestly probably more work that goes into this one to make it. To do the micarta and mill it out so the liners are nested in there, it's probably more work, I would imagine, to make the liner lock than it is to make the frame lock. I could be wrong about that. One thing I love about both these knives, the scales are very contoured, so they're extremely comfortable in hand. I think this one is more comfortable, but that's just because it's micarta. But they're identical in shape, so yeah, I find this one more comfortable just because of the micarta for sure. Let me give you the specs on the knives real quick. Keep in mind, these are all pretty much the same for both knives, except, you know, the weight. You've got 3-inch cutting edge, 7-inch overall length, and M390 belt satin blade. Blade steel is 130 thousandths, exactly the same on both knives. And you have zirconium hardware and titanium screws, I should say. The screws and pivot and everything are titanium, but the collars, the thumb studs, the back spacer, and the pocket clip are all zirconium. So, yeah, and the weight's pretty low for both. Like I said, 3.8 ounces, 3.1 ounces. Very cool knives, guys. Very, very cool knives. These are currently sold out, but you can pick them up on the secondary, and this one will be in the upcoming, the next knife sale. Both of these are Julio's. He sent them in. He's selling this one because we bought this one. He couldn't find this one. Then right after he got the liner lock, he found the frame lock, bought the frame lock, and he's sending in the liner lock for the next knife sale. But he thought, hey, you want to go check out the frame lock too? You can do a comparison video of them. And I was like, yeah, man, that would be super cool. So thank you, Julio, if you were watching this, man. I really appreciate it. Two very cool knives here. It's hard for me to pick a favorite between the two, to be honest with you, because there's things I like about each more than the other, right? I like the action on the liner lock better, and that's a big one for me. The detent's stiffer on this one, but this one just feels, I don't know, it feels more premium. It feels more premium in hand to me. I love titanium, so I love micarta too, but I think they're two very good looking knives either way you go. And this is, I think this is the natural brown micarta. It comes in an OD green or a natural brown, and I don't know. I'm gonna call that the natural brown micarta, but I've seen OD green micarta that looks brown too. So, all right, let me give you some size comparisons here. The Rockwall. I love this Rockwall. Great knife. Almost identical in length with the Rockwall. They're a hair longer than the Rockwall, but not by much. The Penguin. This is a very good comparison between them. It's almost identical in length, and you get similar blade shape. Very good size comparison. Although the thickness is much thinner on the frame like Penguin than it is on either of these. You can see the Penguin's quite a bit thicker. That's because how contoured these scales are pretty contoured, which makes them very comfortable, much more comfortable in hand than the Penguin. And this one's the same. Like I said, they're pretty much the same thickness. Yeah, quite a bit thicker than the Penguin, as you can see there. We'll just pull one out for now to do size comparisons because they're exactly the same length. The Bitster variant, almost exactly the same length as the variant. And these are OEM by Riat, if I haven't said that yet, guys. And the AD 20.5. AD 20.5 is a little longer, probably not even a half an inch though, so pretty close in size. The Spyderco Para 3. Para 3 is almost identical in length. And what else we got here? We will do the Benchmade Bug Out. Bug Out's a little longer. and it's going to be a lot thinner. So yeah, good EDC size knife in my opinion. Tempted, I say this with all the knives in the knife sales, you guys know, I'm tempted to buy it myself. Shit, if I had the money, I'd buy all the knives, you know what I mean? But man, I just bought a bunch of stuff. So as much as I would love to buy this knife, I don't think I will be buying it. So one of you guys could be the new lucky owner of this. Yeah, and patrons will get 24-hour early access. So keep that in mind, patrons. If you've been looking for a Maverick S, good looking knife, beautiful knife, great action on both, very good feel in hand on both, great knives. You know when I didn't pull out to show you that I should show you real quick? I gotta ship this back to JD. The Civivi Thug, same designer on both those knives. So there you go. Christensen designed the Thug and the Maverick. So almost not too far off in size when closed. The Thug is a little bit smaller, but it seems like he likes to design his knives a little. He likes to make chunkers, but once open, there's quite a big difference in size. So if I line up the scales right here on the front, oops, the Maverick's a little bit longer on this end and quite a bit longer on the blade end. So yeah, it seems like he likes to. He likes ergonomics. Christensen does with his knives. These are the only two I know of that he's designed. I'm sure he's designed others, but these are the only two I've ever had in hand that he's designed. And he's definitely, you know, he likes the ergonomics of a knife. He puts some thought into the ergonomics, no doubt about it. So, yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. If you guys own one of these, comment below. Let me know what you think. I think they're great knives, and unfortunately, they're not available anymore. They're sold out, but you can find them on the secondary. And I don't know if he's going to be making more or not. I would follow him on Instagram, Christensen Knifeworks. I'll link his Instagram below in the description. Give him a follow. And yeah, I think it was very successful, so I would think he'll probably do another run of these down the road. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one.